I hear the call of the stars.
G'day guys, Duckville here. We are into game number 2 of the FXO Invitational Korean Qualifiers. I'm going to get all that out between IMYongHwa and Smart, or TSLSmart, or TSLJYP. Up here in the blue again, we do have JYP fighting from the top left, top right corner of xel'naga Caverns. This is the MLG version, I believe, where it's a little bit blocked. I'm not actually sure, but either way, down here on the right, the left, I'm getting my directions confused today, lucky I'm not driving, is IMYongHwa in the red. He's going to be from the bottom left corner, and we'll see what he's going to pull out this time. He did pull out a 4-gate last game on Tal'Darim Altar, and he did a great job of pushing in with his Stalkers and Zealots. He was keeping on top of Smart's forces, because Smart obviously had Blink, which enabled him to be a little bit more mobile with his Stalkers, and obviously gave him the advantage against the Zealots as well. A little bit of a little trick here. I'm not sure if anyone saw that, but just clicking those probes onto the same mineral patch to make sure that they do team up as a mining pair, as Day9 would say. As you can see here, we've got these two guys going efficiently as possible, not onto the long distance spots. You can see that particular mineral patch there is actually a long distance spot. It's better to go to some of these shorter ones. Just little tricks you can integrate into your play when you are starting to get a little bit higher in your particular games and that sort of thing. But of course, shout outs of course to FXO for hosting this event. Of course, they're going to be hosting a lot more events such as this, and of course the FXO Invitational Series number 4 will be coming up in the not too distant future. And of course, as always, much love to a team who is hosting some foreign players in the GSTL. Of course, they've competed just recently. We had day number 1 where they were fighting against StarTale and put up a magnificent effort against StarTale to they actually lost that series, unfortunately. They lost it 4-2, I believe it was, but it was just a great thing to see some foreign players in the GSTL competing in Korea, and of course we'll love to see some more of them in the short term. Now we do have, obviously these guys are going for, once again, similar sort of builds. We do have a Zealot coming out from IMYongHwa. He's going to head this one over here to this probe, which is doing a little bit of harassment here at this mineral line. Of course, it's blocking off, as we mentioned in game number 1, something which Huck likes to do a lot and does a great job of it, is pushing your probes onto the mineral patch, blocking any other probes from coming onto it because it's effectively being mined, but then cancelling it before it picks up the minerals so you can do it all again. And it's a lot of trouble when you do have that sort of thing happening when you should be having full saturation. Meanwhile, IMYongHwa up here is just poking around, seeing that there is a second gate on the way from Smart. He's already got one going there, pumping out a Stalker, and we'll see that down here in IMYongHwa's base, he's forced out that probe. That guy is going to get back to his own mineral line and get back to mining that one up. Second gas goes down from IMYongHwa, so probably not the same sort of 4-gate that we saw before. You can still 4-gate off 2 gas, of course, but it's generally seen that you would do it off 1. For the moment, we don't actually see any tech, which IMYongHwa is going for, but up here we do see a second gas up for Smart, so we'll see if both of these guys presumably will be going for the similar sorts of builds. I would say we'll have a look at what comes up. We do obviously have that extra gate from IMYongHwa, so he's going to have a little bit of an advantage that way, but I would say what we're probably going to see out of Smart is a robo pretty quickly. You do see 2-gate robos from time to time in PvP. It's not always the same thing, but when it's different, it's very different. As we can see here, we'll probably find out in just a second what IMYongHwa is going to get up to. He does obviously have enough minerals at the moment to build something. There we go, he is getting a robo, so it is going to be a 3-gate robo as opposed to the 2-gate robo, which I suspect will be coming up from Smart in just a moment. But 3 Stalkers have been popped out here. He's going to do a good job sniping off perhaps this Zealot if he keeps all of these units in check. Takes off some shots on that Zealot. Does not actually take any health off, but has done a good job putting up a little bit of pressure there. And even a sentry has now come out from IMYongHwa because he's just a little bit perhaps worried about any sorts of early attacks. And now we do see that his own 3 Stalkers are going to push out onto the map. Pushing through here, finding a Stalker on the xel'naga watchtower, forcing that one off. A couple more Stalkers coming along here from Smart. He is going for the Twilight Council, so he is going to perhaps go for that Blink again. I would say there could be something a little bit different. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to push it too early, but he is actually going to get a 4th gateway, so well, effectively a warp gate. So we'll probably see if he's going to do blink again. There it is. So he is going to get up a blink. There is a probe that just got inside the mineral line here for YongHwa, and he's actually seeing exactly what is going on here. Saw that Twilight Council, and he's obviously going to see that there are 4 gates in the works there here. Now, the Immortal, which is going to be on the way here from YongHwa, who is interestingly supply blocked on that, is going to help out immensely with counteracting these Blink Stalkers, which will be coming out from Smart. We do see that a probe is just coming out to scout out, trying to find out what he can. If Smart actually gets this pylon up and can get these Stalkers down into the fight before this Immortal becomes too much of a presence, of course, and we do see a Chrono going down on that to make sure it does come out pretty quick, Smart. But the Stalkers are going to be a huge, huge force here if they can get into decent size, which they may. We'll probably see 1 or 2 warp in just a second. Sentry puts down a force field saying, do not come in here. I am not actually ready for the fight. So he's going to be getting that Immortal out. There we do see that the Immortal is ready. There are 6 Stalkers up here on the ramp. He does have an Observer for vision as well. Putting down the Sentry, puts down the force field in an interesting spot here. This actually gives a little bit of vision here to Smart, but he's not going to blink up to the top. That's obviously suicide, given that there is an Immortal there, and he does now know that that is there. Two Zealots are perhaps going to help out with getting a little bit of vision and maybe a blink up to the side. Perhaps we'll see a blink over here. Not actually sure, but he is going to try and push in, and it looks as if Smart has had enough. He's going to go for some of these Stalkers, cleaning up some of these Stalkers. The Immortal putting down some hurt on top of those Stalkers for Smart as well, but it looks as if this has been sort of an interesting position for both of these players. We do see on the production tab that a Robo is on the way for Smart as well. He's got that coming, and interestingly, is that another probe that got inside? No, it's not, but back here we do have this Observer still spotting what's going on, so he's definitely going to be in a position to actually snipe off any of these units, and now actually committing to the battle. But a beautiful Sentry force field puts down a little bit of an annoyance there for that Immortal, which is kept out of the battle, but YongHwa is actually just forcing these Stalkers back due to the fact that there are essentially an equal number of Stalkers here. In fact, a couple more, I believe. Let's have a quick look at the unit tab. He's no, he's just behind by 1. Just warped in an extra one, but that actually forces back those Blink Stalkers because the Zealots are here to help counteract the Blink. If they can keep on top of it, we'll see what happens, but it looks as if, is this going to be a base race? This could be quite interesting. There is a pylon up here for YongHwa, so he's definitely going to be in position to counteract that. Now, we do see in a lot of PvPs when we get to these base trade situations here, and beautifully taking out that pylon, YongHwa is going to have a lot of trouble warping in units here. He is going to need to get these probes out. They're going to try and catch a taxi and get out of there quick, Smart, but it does look as if the Stalkers are going to stay on top of them. The base trade, meanwhile, is still commencing over here. The Immortal is inside for YongHwa. He's going to do great damage to the buildings, trying to take out as many of these probes as he can, taking out as many buildings along the way as he can. But the problem that he will have to deal with is the fact that these Stalkers do have Blink, which gives Smart a lot of mobility as well, which means that he'll be able to blink around the map. Of course, this will come down to a situation, I would presume, where both of the players are sort of trying to hold on to their one last building that they have, which obviously for YongHwa will mean that he'll have to hold on to perhaps this pylon depending on what happens. But it looks as if the Stalkers are going to come back to fight. It looks as if they're not happy with their homelands being desecrated, but there is still a little bit of trouble here for Smart. Is actually getting inside and taking care of this Blink, the Stalker army along with that Immortal. And now we do see that even YongHwa has actually built a Nexus, so we've got a counteracting Nexus here from YongHwa. He's decided that he's not going to have any of that. The Immortal goes down. The Stalkers are trying to do some more damage to the other Stalkers of YongHwa, but Smart is just doing a nice job blinking away here, keeping them out of the battle, losing a little bit of the shields, then blinking back, taking care of all of those Zealots. This is going to be quite an interesting position here for YongHwa. Now he actually has a low amount of Stalkers. He's going to have a lot of trouble dealing with the rest of this. We do see on the unit bars that a lot of these Stalkers from Smart are actually getting quite low, and the unit count actually shows us that YongHwa is now in a terrible position with his own Stalkers, with no way to warp in any more reinforcing units because the gateways, which were powered before, have now been depowered. The Nexus gets cancelled. There are no more. Is there any probes? No, there's no more probes here. There's one probe somewhere on the map. Here it is. Where is it? Where is it gone? Here it is. It's actually running around trying to decide where to go. It's probably going to get sniped off, and this is probably going to be the end of YongHwa in this particular game. This probe has nowhere to go. There are 5 Stalkers left on the map. The only thing left here for IMYongHwa is 2 probes that have been created. There's one over here. Not sure what the point of that was. He is trying to get out an Immortal, which could certainly help him, but it looks as if the probe is taking care of that pylon along with the Stalkers, and there's the GG. Fantastic game by Smart to come back, take care of the units that were inside with some fantastic Blink Micro, and then coming back to deny that Immortal from getting out, because that could have been a little bit interesting perhaps. I think the Stalkers still would have won, but it could have come down definitely on the wire there if IMYongHwa had have actually gotten that Immortal out. So we'll go to a Game 3 here between these two. Game 3 is on Metalopolis. I'll see you there. Cheers.